Thank you. Now recognize Ms. Moore of Wisconsin.
Wow. Hello, everybody. I just want to, I'm not going to put any words in your mouth, Ms. Evermore, but I suppose I ought to start with you. I was sitting here, I didn't hear you say the things that the gentleman from Ohio said that you said, that it wasn't important to track down fraud and, that just, it's just too much work. I didn't hear that. What I thought I heard, and from your testimony, is that we shouldn't abandon some of the real concerns, like, for example, my governor of the state of Wisconsin talked about the unemployment insurance data equipment that we have from the 1960s and how this administration clawed back $29 million in federal funding that we need to prevent waste, fraud, and abuse in the unemployment insurance program. What I thought I heard you say is that there might be $85,000 on a card like that, but there might be many, many, many more cards that got $10 on them and $15 on them. And there are people, I know people who were on SNAP, for example. Mr. Miller, you might be upset to hear this, but they get $10 a month of SNAP and they save all of the $10 debit EBT cards until Thanksgiving. So they'll have $100 to spend on a dinner. No, no, no. That's my time. Excuse me. So I just want to yield a second. I didn't intend to do this to Miss Evermore to clarify what she said.
Yeah, I just think if we have limited dollars, we should concentrate on what's going to capture the most fraudsters.
Like giving Wisconsin the money we need, right?
Right. And in Wisconsin in particular, you raised the issue of antiquated technology. In our survey, that was one of the most cited things that states were concerned about when it comes to detecting and preventing and fighting fraud and recovering fraud, is their technology isn't up to the task. I would say that also in Wisconsin, I was on a panel recently with the unemployment agency in Wisconsin. They've been doing some really interesting things on technology. It's worth talking to them about it, and I'll leave it there so you have your time.
And notwithstanding that, every Republicans in Congress have slashed unemployment insurance appropriations every single year. And they've reduced the administrative funding for state UI offices to a 30-year low in 2020, just for the record. All right, let me move on. Let me ask the Honorable Mr. Despacito some questions. Economists argue back and forth about whether or not we are facing some sort of recession, perhaps in the next year or two. They look at labor market conditions, the labor market problems we're bound to. The pandemic was certainly one of those times. It was horrible with regard to the high unemployment rate. We're seeing unemployment rates rise now. We, of course, have this tariff and trade policy, which is increasing inflation. We see this AI bubble, and a little bit of history here. October 1929, we saw the stock market on October 15th or October 1st, just as high as it had ever been. And then October 29th, stock markets crashed and we went into the Great Depression. You're too young to know that. But what I am saying is that maybe I'll ask Ms. Evermore, are we prepared for the next pandemic or a recession that may come?
No, we're not. We currently have very old technology. States are ill-funded. There are some questions that we still need to answer. But I think that states have been doing their best since the pandemic to bolster the systems and to
patch it up with
patch
spit
it
and
up.
bubble gum and tape
Exactly.
and so on. Mr. Esposito, do you think that we're ready? And notwithstanding the debit cards, do you think we're ready for the next big thing, a recession or a pandemic?
Do I
with
think
regard to our readiness?
the federal government or states individually or the inspector
All
general's
everybody,
office?
yeah.
Well, I believe the inspector general's office is ready. I do think that it is a little bit insincere to blame the lack of technology in certain states
The 1960s.
on a specific president. I mean, if we're saying that the funding was cut under on President Trump's
Yeah,
administration.
it was cut.
Right, but you mentioned that the technology in your state wasn't updated since 1989. There's
No,
been,
no, 1960s.
okay, 1960.
Yeah.
There's been multiple Democratic presidents in
And
1960.
for 30,
that
there's
could
a
have been
30-year,
provided
it's been
funding.
cut every single year. Now, Mr. Chairman, I thank you for your indulgence because I'm going to enter something in the record. I want to enter a report from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities that talks about the unemployment insurance system unprepared for another recession. I just want to thank all the witnesses. I really enjoy this job, like you enjoyed it, I'm sure, Mr. Despacito, and want to come back because you just learn an awful lot, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection, those will be submitted for the record. Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Thank you.